Hey beautiful people, Kamina the Koach here. I haven't done a video in so long, and I'm going to do this video to talk about why I haven't done a video in so long. I probably am looking a lot like I'm feeling. So this is going to be a video totally about why Kamina hasn't done a video. So this is maybe not so touchy-feely, not a feel-good video, but just honesty, because I think that whoa, we got stuff poking out of there. I think that when you're watching somebody for advice and guidance, that you want to know that they're being authentic, vulnerable, and real with you. So I'm going to be very, very, very real. It's possible that I may offend some people. It shouldn't offend you because I'm just giving you my truth. It's my truth. It has nothing to do with your truth, right? So, try to take this with a grain of salt, because this is all just about how Kamina has been feeling. So March 26th, around thereabouts, I came back to the United States after almost 10 years of working and teaching abroad, mostly Asia. I spent some time in Mexico. So Southeast Asia was not a good dating place for Black women, or at least for me anyways. I was pretty lonely there, and I didn't make many connections there. The last place I was Myanmar. So I was already planning on coming home before the apocalypse hit. So I was already, and I use the word home loosely. I was already coming back to the United States before this happened. So I can't say that it necessarily forced me back. I was coming back because I was longing for meaningful connections. Did I know what I was getting into? Really, probably not. So that's what this video is about, what I've been going through emotionally during this time. So the date today is July 5th, 2020. Our President, Commander-in-Chief, went in front of Mount Rushmore and condemned Black Lives Matter protesters, and basically called them anti-American. Maybe a month ago, he tried to sic the military on protesters. Police have been hurting people and pointing grenade launchers and such at them. So when Trump went to sic the military on the protesters, was very, very, very emotional. It hit me. So that was the first time everything hit me full force. I was in the fetal position on the ground, crying, hyperventilating. I have friends that are still in the military. I couldn't imagine how they were feeling. And I was angry and sad and scared and frustrated to not be able to live in and feel safe in a country that was built off of the blood, sweat, and tears of my ancestors. I did a Facebook Live because I couldn't gather myself enough to do a video, crying and begging the few white friends that I have left on my friends list to check on their Black friends and talk to their Black friends, because a lot of us are not okay. The two people that watched were the white people that really didn't need to see it, but I'm thankful for them nonetheless. So what are my opinions? So when I was going through all this stuff, it was really strange to me to talk to my Black friends and hear how calm they were. Everybody seemed a lot calmer than me, and I am very passionate, but everybody just seemed so much calmer than me. They were disturbed, but not to the degree that I was, and not even really close to the degree that I was. And I really had to stop and take a look at this. Why exactly is this? And I think that this is because living in the United States, I can't speak for how it is for other minorities, but I know for Black Americans, we tend to put a shell up. Not tend to, we have to. In order to be able to live here without being freaked out constantly, we have to put a shell up. So the man who the policeman put his knee on his neck and killed him, that's not the first time. And just because there's videos now, I mean, I experienced this stuff before there were videos. So this isn't new, right? This isn't new to us. So how could Black people possibly live in an atmosphere that's so hostile unless they do erect some type of armor, some type of protection mechanism? A lot of zoning out, a lot of tuning out. So I mean, the majority of my time overseas, I spent shedding this armor, trying to figure out how to be vulnerable and how to be my authentic self and not be so guarded. Well, apparently I did a very good job because now I don't have any shell, I don't have any armor left to protect me. So it's left me feeling very raw and very exposed. It's making it very difficult for me to be my authentic self, which is a smiler and speaking to everybody. And God knows the world needs some happy, gentle, kind people. But what I really hate about being back in the United States is it's making me go against my, I'm sitting on the floor because I think I've thrown my back out. I helped a neighbor move a couch. He was about to do it by himself and it was a lot heavier than it looked. I think I've thrown my back out. So that's why I'm sitting on the floor. Anyways, it's been really hard. It's been really hard without this shell, without this protection mechanism. So it got harder. So I'm finishing up my master's degree at Arizona State University, and I'm going to use the name freely, and I'm going to speak about it quite a bit because there was a professor, her name is Liz McCoy, white woman, who made some comments that were, so one comment was they're both racially insensitive, pointing to the fact that she's probably a racist in that she does not even know that she's a racist. If somebody, she would probably get really defensive and swear she wasn't. But so she made a couple of comments to me. She told my classmate that she needed to approach her research with a less aggressive tone, even though she's writing about systematic racism. So the final straw for me was when she addressed my classmate, who is also a Black woman, as me. So her name begins with CH, my name begins with a KA. They don't sound anything alike. I'm not going to say her name. My last name is Hall. Her last name doesn't even come close. It starts with an A. So what? So she addressed her with my name and gave her feedback. So now we're not even sure if we've been getting the correct feedback all semester. So why is this a problem? Why? So the thing is, Black people understand what I'm talking about. Black people understand this immediately. Black people understand that in general, quite a few white people just lump us into one category and can easily mix us up. I've actually spoken to this woman in a Zoom conference, so she's even seen my face. And what's even more disappointing is that she didn't ever catch herself. So it's been a full week now, and she never caught herself. It would have been okay if she would have come back and apologized, but she never caught herself. So I fought that all last week, and to be honest, I thought I was going to give myself a heart attack or a stroke. I had to pay to join a gym just to physically get out of the house. I spend sometimes 3 or 4 days without talking to anyone or without seeing anyone because I'm just in my home working on schoolwork and working. So during the week, I rarely leave my home. I don't really see people, and I definitely don't talk to anyone. And so I reported the issue to my student service representative, and she reported it to the head of our department, who's another white man, and a very lovely man, pleasant, but he was basically just talking to me just to let me get it off my chest. And he says that he's going to do something after the course is over. But to me, what I experienced from this woman is aggression. So to me, if someone is being abused, you need to rectify the situation immediately. So that means he should have taken me out of her section and put me in the lead instructor section. but he didn't do that. So then I start trying to figure out. So I emailed the lead instructor, and she did what she was supposed to. I didn't email her from the beginning because she's part of the problem. The course is designed really, really badly. So I didn't email her initially because I was complaining about her too. But because I was stuck in this other woman's section, and I'm carrying a 4.0, and this course is about to destroy my 4.0 average. So just disgruntled about a lot of stuff, the racism, the lack of concern for all this money that I'm spending for this, and the lack of quality education I'm getting in return for all that money. So yeah, last week was been really exhausting. Oh, and then I complained to my student services representative, and she got me the contact to the university's diversity team or something. But of course, the woman who emailed me, of course, is another white woman. I'd like to make a suggestion to any companies out there, white companies, human resource people. I suggest that you hire somebody from outside to be your hire a I hate African American. I'm not from Africa. Hire a Black American to be your translator. It is not the person who is filing a complaint's job to explain to you why the discrimination, microaggression, and racism they face is racism. There is nothing more. So first of all, facing it is horrible. Feeling racism is horrible. But then, while you're feeling it, having to explain why it's a problem is even worse. That's even worse. So I really feel that companies need to hire somebody who's not vested in the outcome. A Black person with experience in teaching white people about diversity and our culture and what we faced and what is and is not racism. All HR departments should have somebody like this to translate for you what is going on. If you because white people will hear what I've said and not understand why it's a problem. It's exhausting to try to explain why it's a problem. So hire somebody to explain it to you, and don't expect a distressed person to explain it to you. I was so distressed, I also had to reach out to a friend who is also a life coach and therapist and speak with her, and I just knew I had to do something because it was just really, really bad. And I guess that was a head for me. That was when it all came to a head, was last week, and I'm on the downward slope now. The courses will be over this week coming, thank God. I don't know what's gonna come next, which is a little scary. I've been hired, but I haven't heard from my school, so that's a little scary. I'd also like to point out the change in my character, or that the change in my character that being here has caused. People think I'm a very brave person, and in general I am. I'm pretty brave. I'm not really scared. I'm not typically scared of stuff. I did move overseas by myself, fishing and shooting and military for 10 years. So I'm not really the scary type. Traveled a lot by myself. But I'm terrified now. I'm I'm already jumpy. I start at loud noises anyways. But driving is very difficult for me. Driving at night is almost impossible. I'm blind. But driving is very difficult for me. I had a friend over yesterday, and I'm not sure what moved past the window, but I thought it was a person. I saw movement, and I jumped, and I didn't. To me, it was imperceptible. I didn't think that I actually jumped, but my friend was like, "What'd you see? What happened?" And he was like, "You're so scary." I was like, "Scary is how you describe a movie, not how he's like, you know what I mean." I'm like, yes. And I'm very, very anxious. I see police. When I see men walking towards me, I don't even know how to interact with Americans anymore. I'm in South Carolina. I'm in the South, and men are quite a bit more, I don't know, because I've never really lived anywhere but here. And they're so aggressive here. It's really hard to deal with. I've already had a couple of like run-ins, so that's kind of scary. And I don't know. I also came back to the United States in order to not be alone, to be around my connections and stuff. And ultimately, I'm still feeling very isolated here, and I think I feel more isolated here than I did where I was. And I often there spent many days without talking to or seeing anyone, but ultimately inside I was at peace. I was not at turmoil inside. So again, this was not really for any reason. This video wasn't for any other reason than I haven't done one in a long time. And sorry about that. Again, I'm sitting on the floor. I haven't done one in a long time, and this is just stuff that I think that people need to see. People that they respect say these kind of things. People that aren't stars, that aren't there's nothing special about me, but there are 170 followers or something like that, just subscribers to our channel. So if you respect me, if you care anything about what I have to say, then I feel like this is probably important to you too, or it should be. It's really hard. It's been really hard. It's been really hard. It's been really hard. I cannot say if repatriation would have been this hard if all the social unrest and Corona wasn't going on. I can't say if it would be this hard, but it's hard. I don't know exactly when I realized how hard it was, because things were okay for a while. But it's definitely gotten to a point now for me where I'm like, wow, this is a lot harder than I anticipated. I'm lonelier than I anticipated. This is just, it's just harder than I anticipated. It's definitely probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. So if you are not Black, if you are not American, and you have Black American friends, you might want to check on them. If you work at a company and have any kind of position of power, it would be really amazing if you would put an African American in there to translate for Black people who are having racial issues, if you care. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Yeah, that's all. I just wanted to let y'all know how I was doing, and it's not fabulous. I'm definitely not like on the verge of suicide or anything, but I'm not doing great. I appreciate any love and support you choose to send my way. I could definitely use it. And that's it. Thanks, guys. Love you. Until next time, sending you love, light, peace, and joy. Kamina the Koach. Peace.